Across the river from downtown Cincinnati, in Covington, Kentucky's main Strauss, and from the beautiful village Sight, Sound, and Stage, it's Fret Buzz. Featuring Mike Reeder. William Gilmore Weber. And the lovely Janelle Stevens as the barista. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Mike Reeder.
Hello and welcome to Fret Buzz. So great to be back here at the show with some good friends. I actually have some really good friends with me today, people I've known for a long time.
I'm a friend.
I wasn't counting you.
Okay.
But, usually a lot of times it'll be people I don't really know really well, but I know a lot of these people fairly well.
I know you.
Yeah. Today on the show we have Maurice Mattei, Sarah Asher, Jacob Tippy, and Johnny Fink. And they're all going to play us some great songs and play some cool guitars that I brought with me today and talk about coffee and what's been happening. What's new with you, William?
Oh, well, I don't know. I'm going to plead to, anybody in the audience that's maybe a doctor or a dermatologist.
What?
Spot that's been there for 2 months. I keep hitting it when I'm shaving.
Really?
I try not to shave around it. Now I'm kind of, it's kind of grown. So
That's probably not good.
Yeah. Well,
Sure it's not like a cold sore or something?
if something happens, I'll be like Bob Braun and have no upper lip then. So anyway.
So any doctors in the audience, get in contact with William.
Yes, please.
Do we need to get a close up of this or anything for the show?
Maybe you could film my procedure.
Let's not.
It'll be like stretching the lip out.
Well, that's not at all what I expected to hear.
Yeah. On a
Same with
Sunday
me.
morning.
What about you guys? Who played last night? Anyone?
No.
Wow.
I don't think anybody did.
I played Friday.
I played Friday.
Where did you play?
Southgate House.
Southgate House. The lovely Southgate House, one of the best clubs in the United States.
Revival.
Yeah.
Yes,
Gotta
Revival. You got to
yeah.
throw that in
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
That's like
Yeah.
Libertines USA.
Well, there is actually no other Southgate House, right? That's it. That's the only one.
Oh, they changed that to the.
No. Nope. That's it. That's the only one.
Yeah.
So how'd that go? Who'd you guys play with?
I played with a guy out of Nashville named Don Gallardo, and he seems to be mixed up with a lot of great players down there, people in Old Crow Medicine Show, and
Cool.
lots of. It's a good thing, so it was good.
Was it just you or Calumet?
It was just me. Yes,
Wow, I didn't know you were doing solo things.
Well, he's on the show.
Well, okay.
My illustrious drummer, as any good drummer, is not in one, but more like 6 bands, and he's out on tour right now. So
The drummer syndrome.
yes.
Yeah.
Never ends.
Find
We
a good
all
one,
go
you can't
through the
keep
drummer syndrome.
I guess he's got a port in every storm there.
Yeah.
The only thing crazier than drummers are singers. Oops. But that's cool. Was it the big room?
No, it was just in the lounge.
Oh, well, the lounge is my favorite place
Yeah.
to play.
Mine
anyway.
Mine too.
I like playing the lounge. I noticed you've been playing around a lot, Sarah. Where's the last time you played?
Where was it? I don't know. Northside Tavern.
Oh, right
I
on.
had been there since I lived in Columbus and would come down. So it was probably 15 years.
So you went there more when you lived in Columbus than
Well, I just
living
had
in town.
been there when I came to play Cincinnati
Okay.
when I lived in Columbus.
Okay.
I played there. But yeah, I've kind of slowed down just a little bit with the summer.
Yeah, you
And
got
I'm
babies
working on
too,
some
right?
Writing, and I just got back yesterday. I was in Florida with my kids, visiting
Yeah.
my dad again. So,
Oh,
so that's like a vacation with toddlers is not
Toddlers
relaxing.
and a dad.
it's not really a vacation, is it?
It's called a change of scenery. I learned that.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you had a farm.
Yeah.
You lived on a farm.
Yes.
And, actually, I think when I first met you, you were on the farm. I don't even know where I first met you, but I know that the farm was involved in all that.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to get that AJ Jolly's.
Oh, when I was
part,
booking AJ, yeah.
And I was like, I want to play there.
Yeah, and I looked into what you were doing. It was all really very cool. It had a really nice vibe to it. You would always involve in nature and agricultural type stuff. And it was very organic. And that's one of the reasons I fell in love with your music and stuff. It's really cool. So what's it like living, I guess, in the big city now?
Well, we've got a nice yard.
Less
so
cows.
I've got all these flowers blooming up
Yeah.
throughout, like cosmos seed and
Yeah.
zinnias. So really just being on the farm kind of helped me to learn to be connected with nature again. Themes in my music are kind of that connected with the season and the feeling of revival and change and you know, like the last 2 songs that I just had on my single that I released this spring are both songs, you know, talking about kind of like being reborn. So moving was like a rebirth for me and my husband because, you know, we were there so long we thought, well, this is all there is, you know.
Yeah.
And it's really neat the way life will take you places you didn't.
Now, did you when you lived in Columbus? I take it.
Yes.
Did you live in the city or
Yes.
was it rural?
Yeah,
Okay. So you're used to hearing car horns and.
Well, they moved to
Yeah.
Cynthiana, and there's 300 acres, and I mean, you always had great photos and stuff. Your husband's an artist, right? Mm-hmm. So they always had like really cool artistic kind of stuff that was like sort of farm related. I don't know how to say it, but it had like a very organic, earthy vibe to it, which is really cool. And you know, I mean, you still have that about you, which is wonderful.
Yeah, I feel
But-
like that's something that I could take with me.
Sure.
You know,
And Maurice, you're the exact opposite of that, buddy.
Urban.
You're so
Which is what I love about you. You always have like really, really cool, like Italian kind of related things, or you know,
Somewhat. Some of them.
you
are.
did a lot of travel in your life, right?
Well, just because my family's all in Italy, so
Uh-huh.
I traveled there quite a bit.
Yeah.
But haven't been.
What do they
back
call
there.
Italian food in Italy? Food.
Good.
Okay.
But
What do they go out to eat? They can't eat Italian because it might as well stay.
no, they have all kinds of restaurants over there, and
Yeah.
you know, they have all kinds of cuisine over there nowadays.
Yeah.
Unless you get out into the country, then it's pretty much Italian food.
Yeah.
I think they just call it food.
Yeah.
But
The menu says food.
yeah, but I mean, so yeah, I've gone back there quite a bit, but I really haven't traveled that much other than going to Italy. I mean, I've been
Yeah.
there a lot, but that's about it, you know. But
You are a constant gigging musician, aren't you?
well, I've taken a break recently, not to contradict everybody,
Right.
But I because I just finished up recording at home, which I've never done before, a new record. It's a double album, which I've never done before either.
Gatefold? Because you can do
it's
things
a double
on
album
it.
on a single. It's a double album on a single CD,
Oh,
which
okay.
is a heck of a bargain,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Twice
So
the price. Or
That's
yeah.
that's the marketing campaign.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I've been doing that, and I've started playing the last few months with a couple new people, which I'm really happy with, and we're going to start. Well, our first show is next weekend. As a matter of fact, we're opening for Brian Lovely, Flying Underground.
Flying.
Yeah, and
That's mine in the morning before I take a shower. Sticks in the wall.
so that's going to be our first debut, so to speak, with the new lineup.
Cool. What is the new lineup?
Debbie Minnesota's on drums, and she's played around with a lot of different bands, but she's real good. She has some jazz influence with her work, and she's got a real nice feel to the music. And Brian Berwanger. You know what? I feel real embarrassed about that because I don't know if it's a soft G or a hard G.
Oh.
I'm just going to go with a hard G.
That sounds
Berwanger.
good.
So, but
He's out of the band now, so.
Yeah,
Too complicated.
Right.
he's going to be playing upright bass.
Oh, cool.
He's playing upright bass with. I've never played with. I've usually played electric bass.
That's cool. Maurice is an amazing photographer and artist. He, do you paint? I know you draw, but do you paint
I
too?
don't, you know. And
His drawings are absolutely amazing. You should. Everyone should go to his Facebook page. Do you have a special page for that or
I
not?
don't. It's just.
But check out his stuff.
Is it on your website also?
It's on my website.
And his photography. You have wonderful club shots from like the 80s and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of stuff from. Well, actually, it was more the '90s, but
Yeah.
it's that and
Showing
just
my
a lot of
age
stuff. A lot of photos
Yeah.
from there and from Italy. You know,
Yeah.
I shot a lot in Italy.
Food
Yeah,
porn.
So that's kind of influenced the songs.
Yeah.
Too.
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
Did you find it harder to record at home or in a studio?
Oh, it's much easier at home. Yeah.
It's a
I
longer
don't know.
process though, because you walk away.
Unless
from
you're
it.
at the Village Sight Sound and Stage studio, which is really easy and wonderful.
or Cracked House.
Well,
Right. Hey, you.
So what?
Sounds fine.
Jacob, I know you got a studio, right? I mean,
Yep.
you have your own like professional studio. right?
Yeah, I worked in professional studios for 10 years.
Okay.
And then when Ultra Suede closed, I kind of just moved all my stuff to the house I was living in at the time, which is a Civil War era church. So been operating out of there for the last couple of years.
Okay.
And,
And what do you call that?
I don't really have a name for
Jacob's
it. but-
studio?
Yeah, the church. Yeah.
The church.
So you were working in Australia with John? I didn't know that.
Yeah, not only for a little while.
Okay.
But, and then I was at a place called Curtis before that, and they
I see.
mostly do video production. But they have a very nice sound studio. And,
Oh, cool. Well, man, we got to get you in here doing stuff. I had no idea.
yeah, it'd
That's
be great.
awesome. Yeah.
I'm a collector of compressors, and I notice you have quite a few.
Oh
nice
yeah,
vintage
I've been
ones, too,
doing that
so-
myself for the last 30 years, grabbing things when they come in the store. And,
Absolutely.
yeah, I've got some cool mics too.
I just downloaded,
Yeah.
software legally.
He's one of those high tech guys.
Yeah.
So I know. Did you do the Calumet record at your place or?
I didn't. I tried to get out of my own way
Yeah.
on this one.
I understand.
So I ended up in January. Actually, the very first weekend of January, we started working on that, and it was just released last month. So. Been,
I'm a huge fan, by the way.
Thank you very
Seriously, I
much.
really love the band. I think you guys are like one of the best things happening in town. All of you guys, but I'm particularly a huge fan of what you guys are doing,
Thanks, Mike.
and can't wait to see what's coming. And Johnny Fink, we've known each other forever.
Since you first started your first store down in Kentucky,
Yeah,
Melbourne.
you have so much going on, I can't even keep track of it.
Music and Flea.
Well, no,
Yeah,
exactly.
the music and Flea.
When everybody tries to tell me, "Oh, do you know Mike Reeder?" I said, "Yeah, I used to buy guitars when he was selling washers and dryers too."
Yeah,
So that's
Yeah.
how far back
were
we
they
go.
vintage washers?
they actually were.
Now they
Honestly,
would be. At the time, they were probably a year old.
the God's honest truth. And when I started, I had almost no money. I had like the few guitars I'd bought in high school and stuff, and I used to go garbage pick. So some of the washers and dryers were definitely vintage washers and dryers.
Yeah.
So
scrub.
and it was the basement of where I lived. Was
And
the
your
first
youngest
store.
son was always in diapers, walking around, and
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah, that was about the first year in.
That was a long time ago. Yeah. So anyway, enough about that.
No, but you is what I wanted to talk about, not me.
Oh, I wanted to. Talk
Everyone
about
wants to
your
know
story.
about Johnny Fink, what he's got going on. I know you just did the Four Aces show.
That
You've got
was
lots
a really
of stuff
cool
going on.
show. It was a concept we came up with about a year and a half ago to have 4 guitar players all play on each other's songs. you know.
Yeah.
So we're all good friends, but you play your own gigs. You don't get
Yeah.
to play with each other. So we played original songs, and we handpicked. Sonny Mormon, I want Sonny to play on this song. I want Jay Jesse to play on this song.
Yeah.
And we all did that. So
That's cool.
we had to learn each other's songs, but the cool thing is you get to make them a little bit your own.
Yeah.
So that was a really fun thing. And
So you told him what song to play and then told him exactly how to play.
no, I did. That's what's so funny. And that's the beauty of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is, you get this section and you do what you want.
Yeah.
You interpret what you want in that song.
Yeah, that's
you know.
cool.
So it was kind of a cool concept. And, we'll see. We had originally thought we'd kind of do it around regionally and take it to other cities, I don't know if that'll happen, but
But
nonetheless,
you've
it's
always
a lot of
got
fun.
great stuff going on. The band's doing well. You did
Band's
a solo
doing well.
record.
Did a solo record that came out almost a year ago, which was a departure for me because it was mostly acoustic. So I didn't do, bluesy, rocky kind of stuff like the band does. It was really more introspective, acoustic-based stuff. So it kind of took me out of my element and required me to sing better.
So, yeah, we're all enjoying the coffee. What do you guys think about this rich, wonderful brew?
I love it.
It's delicious.
It is. It's it's not real strong. It's flavorful, but not like super strong.
I agree.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you in like 20 minutes how strong.
Waiting for it to kick in.
Yeah. All
My
right.
first
Well,
cup, so.
everyone has picked their guitar, and we're all ready to enjoy some of the artist's songs, and we're really looking forward to it. So we're going to jam out here in a minute.
So we're back on Fret Buzz, and we're about to play some cool tunes. We got Maurice with the Gibson CF100, which he has
nice.
chose.
Love old
Yeah.
Gibsons.
All the artists has picked the guitars they're going to play, and Maurice has picked that guitar.
Now, how different is that from what type of guitar you play normally?
Well, I usually play a Guild, one of small body Guilds, and it sounds good.
Yeah.
You know, and I like the action on it. It's
Your
pretty
guitar is a mahogany top guitar
It
too,
is.
which
It is.
mahogany tends to be a little warmer than a spruce guitar.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's probably the main difference because your guitar is what, an M20?
I don't.
Yeah, it's a similar
I'll have to
size
call my guitar tech.
Yeah,
2021, whatever it is.
221.
yeah. That Guild guitar is basically the same body shape, size. What's interesting about that guitar, William, is that guitar is the first ever cutaway acoustic guitar
Oh, wow.
made by Gibson.
Really?
What year is
Actually, by any company that I
How
know.
about that?
It's a CF100,
Or what year?
1950. Yeah.
Sounds nice. I love these
Yeah.
old Gibsons.
Dylan used that guitar occasionally.
Well, I won't hold out against it.
Don't say that now. We'll start trouble with me.
Him and Elvis are really.
Just kidding.
It also, it's kind of special just because the pick guard, I don't know if you see it, but it's a fire strike guard, which only the first year had, which that is the first year.
Now, it looks like it shrunk a little. Is that true, maybe?
Nah, it's just kind of played. There's like
Oh,
play
okay.
wear, which gives it that illusion.
Because that's a weird spot. To like.
So yeah, that's pretty much the details on the guitar. What kind of what song you playing for
I'm
us?
doing a song that's going to be on the new record, and it's called Santa Fe, and it's about, I take a lot of walks around Westwood because I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I get to know some of the people around there, and this woman used to have a nice street, very nice street in Westwood. She used to have a constant yard sale. Yard sale all the time. And it was all this junk, really. And, it was a nice house, but
Mike, there you go.
she obviously had some kind of issues. Anyway, another neighbor was talking to me about her, and she was feeding her drug habit basically by the constant yard sale, her and her boyfriend. And anyway, I wrote a song about it, but I said it in Santa Fe because I don't want anybody to know about it. That it's in
Okay.
Westwood.
We won't say a word.
This is just
Yeah, I
between
don't
us.
want to get around.
Yeah.
Luckily, this isn't
but
videotaped or anything.
Do you have an
Yeah,
address?
exactly.
As long
Yeah.
as it's between us, right?
Is the address in the song?
Anyway, it's called.
The address is not in the song?
The address.
Okay.
Speaking
Speaking of that, I just
She's
got
gone
a lovely
anyway,
shirt
so.
from a yard sale last week. by
Did
the
you
way.
really?
Yes, I did.
Is
So
it that what is it?
it wasn't on
5
your
state?
street. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have brought some drugs to trade.
I could have, yeah.
But that'd be wrong.
I could have got it
Like
from you.
Mine are just
Some
for
lip
dogs.
drugs.
Right, yeah. Upper lip. Yeah.
Some lip balm, yeah.
I'm sorry, I kind of set the conversation onto drugs.
Oh,
Maybe we can move on from that.
yeah. Let's talk about Santa Fe.
Stay in school, don't do drugs.
Santa Fe.
Yeah. Santa Fe. Anyway, it goes something like this. Amy's home. She just went inside. Left some things spread out on the lawn. Scattered round the cardboard yard sale sign. Front doors open, porch lights on. Plastic cups and empty picture frame in the rain. Amy's kids are living with her mom. Hasn't seen them in a year or two. back when she got mixed up with the law. They took 'em like they sometimes do. At least that's what I heard from a friend back then. It's pouring rain, I better move along. Meeting Josie at that old strip mall. Unless I might have read message wrong. Could be worse, I guess. All in all, not much else to do this time of day. In Santa Fe.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very much.
You have you have a great voice, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was really, really great song, man.
Oh,
Really enjoyed
thanks.
it.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Any particular reason why you picked Santa Fe?
Well, it's going to be the first music video for the record, and also
It's good to rhyme, you know.
Yeah, and it's easy to play. No, not really. I just like it's a catchy kind of riff, and I just like the song.
I just wondered if you had any experience similar in Santa Fe, because I spent a lot of time there.
I've never
It's
been
one of
there.
it's my favorite city in the United States.
Is that right?
I just love Santa Fe, and as you drive up through New Mexico up to Colorado, Teos, and all those towns, it's like my favorite place to go in the whole United States. So
No, I
I
kinda
really
looked up-
strongly recommend it if you've never been there.
It's funny because I don't know anything about it, but I kind of looked up some things about it after I wrote the song, just to see where it was and
Yeah.
what it would, what it was like and
Yeah.
all that. But no, I've never been there.
It's actually where I bought this, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. There's all these little artist mountain like mine towns like from way back in the turn of the century, and they're full of artists, and it's a lot of like Native American
Right, I saw
jewelry
that,
and stuff, and it's just like super cool area. So that's on the new album,
That's on the new record. Yeah.
the new double album.
New double
coming
album.
out.
Double
yeah.
CD on one CD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
double CD in
Yeah.
one.
Two
Yeah.
records.
So how many songs?
18.
Wow, that's cool, man.
A lot of songs.
That's a lot of
Jeez.
work. Yeah, my band has been working on an album for a couple years too.
I don't know 18 songs. I mean, that's
You only have to
impressive.
play one today.
Yeah.
As long as you know one.
Well, in my style of music, you only need to know one or two. You just change the words.
Just change your words.
Right.
So what's the name of the album? Do you know?
Wow, you're really taxing me now. It's called Velvet Lined Room.
And where can we get it when it comes out?
Well, it'll be available at everybody's and Shake It and online
And so you have your own
and
website?
streaming, of course.
Do you have your own website?
I do. It's my name, Mattei, Mattei.
mmatei.com?
Yeah.
And we all have Facebook pages, obviously. Make sure you go out and support all the artists and check out the material. And what's your next gig coming up?
The next show, like I said, it's next week at Urban Artifact.
Well, remember, this will come out in a month, so it'll have to be next week.
Oh, yeah. Well, forget that.
That was a great show, I think.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
That was a wonderful show. But the CD release show is the one That's going to be at Southgate House at the Lounge.
Okay.
On October 19th.
October 19th. Make
Yeah.
sure you get out there,
Yeah.
buy a CD.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Hello and welcome to Fret Buzz.
I hope it's not anything evil.
Would you like Daddy's teeth?
Ring a ding ding, I'm rotten inside.
This is just food on my lap.
Your brother is Crazy Troy?
Yeah.
They throw their feces.
I actually got the topless one.
That's all right. That's why God made Take Two.
A song called Pretty Pretty Politic.
Yeah.
A monkey has a tail and apes don't have tails.
Let's say you had an old monkey on it. So, find some dumb shit to say once we...
Let it roll. Episode 2, by the way.
What?
Episode 2, by the way. We're on our way.
Don't say dumb shit that soon.
So we're all back. Sarah's picked her guitar, which is a really rare Tisco made by Akai, which is a Japanese company. Most 60s and 70s guitars are actually Tiscos that have different names. Does anybody else want a coffee? I could really dig some more of this wonderful coffee.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What is this brew again? Janelle?
This is Guatemala Whiten.
Sound like you said Guatemala White Castle.
White Castle?
She's too young.
Yeah. You're
So
too
they
young
still
for that.
have them. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You could buy them
Well,
probably.
I thought I might get to play Gibson today, but I was too late. But I brought this picture of my grandpa with his 1954 Gibson Jumbo Sunburst.
Cool.
And he bought the guitar in 1954 at Hauer Music in Dayton. And he was playing the Martin and the Gibson and couldn't decide between them. He played gospel, Southern gospel music. So like bluegrass kind of feel to it.
What year was that?
1954.
Oh, cool.
And so his friend that worked at the store, I guess, I don't know if it was his store, but he said, well, take them both home and bring back the one you don't want.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's nice. You don't do that, do you?
I think I've done that for you many times.
I never bring them back. Never
Yeah.
pay for them, but
So he
that's a
took the
problem.
Martin back, and when he passed away, he was still, that was his guitar. That's the only guitar that he ever played.
Do you still have it in the family? Or does
My
he-
dad has it, yeah.
That's
Wow,
cool.
that's
So,
awesome.
I mean, that guitar, at one point, it had the finish worn off of it, and he got it refinished and everything, which they say, like, it takes away the value.
Yeah.
But for him, it was his guitar, and he wanted it to look how he wanted it to look, and he
Yeah.
said, it's a lifetime guitar.
Yeah,
Like,
when-
I don't care what it's worth, because I'm not selling it.
Sure, exactly. And
Sorry.
when people come to me and they want to do that, that's what I always say. Do you have any intentions of ever selling it? Or that I always discourage that. But, if they're going to keep it till the day they die, make yourself happy, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
it's like vintage furniture, if
Yeah.
it's got holes in it or whatever, you don't want to keep that around the house. You want to
I'm a stickler on that,
I
too.
like the
Or
way
vintage.
I like the worn look to something
Yeah.
because he played that guitar
Yeah.
now, and I haven't played it in a while, but the last time I picked it up, it's just that sound of that guitar.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I
it's
just looked.
him.
It's actually at that time it's what would be called an SJ 200 instead of a J 200. Early on, they were called SJ 200s, and which is the jumbo.
What's S stand for? Southern?
In that time, maybe Super Jumbo.
Super Jumbo?
I'm not probably.
kind of like a Super 400.
There is a
but like-
Southern Jumbo which came
Yeah.
later,
Okay.
which is a dreadnought size,
Okay.
coincidentally. Gibson was weird, like J45s, they called those Jumbos, even though they had a J200, which was a bigger body, which it's always confusing. But,
That's what Elvis used, right?
but that was a very popular guitar for like gospel people to have. A few years back, we bought a local instrument, a J200, a natural one. Here's Grandpa's with Sunburst. and same deal, which is really cool.
Yeah, it just made me fall in love with Gibson.
Yeah, well,
all
coincidentally,
Gibson guitars.
maybe you might change your mind, but that guitar, the one you didn't pick, is a Recording King, which is a really, really rare version of a Gibson. And it's from 1939. And Recording King was sort of an off-brand sort of Gibson guitar, and that's a really, really rare, kind of special Gibson guitar. But you chose the electric because you've been playing electric now a lot, right?
Yeah, well, I just kind
And
of
it
bought
looks
one on
cool.
a whim. Been playing a little bit with a band, and and this one's so pretty, bright and everything.
That guitar came from Keith Urban. I got that from Keith Urban, and Tiscos were kind of like, sort of like lower brand guitars. A lot of them were sold in like Woolworths and Sears, under Greco names, or all kinds of different names, Mayfair, all kinds of different names. That one is an Akai, which is a sort of a rare version. And Keith completely set that guitar up. It's got new frets. It's been, pleaked. It's had the whole deal. So it's probably the best playing Tisco ever made. So,
It always looked cool, but you pick them up and sometimes action, you're like, oh no.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I thought I'd bring something different because a lot of times in the vintage world, it's all American guitars. It's Fender, Gibson, Gretsch, Rickenbacker, Martin. But, I have a love for kind of, strange, odd Japanese guitars from that time period. And that was certainly one of them. It's sparkle finish. It has a tremolo, which when I got it from Keith, the trim was never hooked up, which is probably because it just made it out of tune.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about that, see those push buttons on the top? Those are different combinations of the 3 pickups. But the funniest thing about it is the very last button, see where it says 0? Mm-hmm. It says 1, 2, 3 mic combinations of the different mics. But if you push that last one that says 0, it turns off everything. So
It's a master kill
it's
switch.
0. It's a master kill
Maybe
switch.
it's O for off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you push them down, you have to hit the 0 every time to turn it off, which is something kind of
Hopefully
I've
you
never
don't
seen on
strum and
either.
hit it. That's probably happened before, I'm sure.
Yeah, if you really dug in, you could accidentally hit that.
Sounds complicated.
Not really. I mean, it's like, you reach down, you hit the O, and you got nothing.
Give it your O face.
So what song are you going to play on this wonderful Tisco guitar, Sarah?
I'm going to play a song called Heaven. It's one of my newer songs, and it's on my single, This Little Bird, that I just recorded, which is available everywhere that you buy music online.
Yeah.
And Bandcamp and Apple, Spotify, This Little Bird. So,
Okay. Yeah. And you usually play that song uke, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
if I mess up, that's why.
Yeah.
But I didn't think you would have any vintage baritone ukuleles here.
You'd be surprised.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you play the electric guitar because I don't know if I've ever seen you play electric before.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Watch close.
Yeah.
Watch the tail end of the sunset. Burning in the sky like a neon sign. There comes a time when you realize it's not over. It's only just begun, and heaven is already here. Heaven is already here. Oh, my darling. so am I. Slow and steady, try and try, 'cause I'm just like every other thing. The sky's gonna fall and the phone's gonna ring, and this little bird's gonna fly. 'Cause heaven is already here. Heaven is already here. There is nothing to fear except, where are you? Looking down every street, searching the eyes you meet to find your peace of mind. But heaven is already here. Heaven is already here. Watch the tail end of the sunset. Burning in the sky like a neon sign. There comes a time when you realize it's not over. It's only just begun.
Amazing Kate Wakefield plays on the recording, plays cello, and I had been like dreaming of cello, just those strings, and it just brings this, it makes your heart. I think the cello just like opens your heart up.
Yeah.
You know, it just has that deep resonance to it. And so she plays, and my friend Nick Healing plays piano on it, and it's a good song to listen to in the car because I kind of wrote it in the car. I don't know if you guys you're driving.
Yeah.
And when I was still playing with the band I was playing in, they were in Butler, Kentucky, and I would drive 17 south.
I live on 17, close to it.
Yeah, and just like driving through the country was kind of stirring. But
I could never remember anything that.
Well, you have to write while you're driving, which is not as dangerous as texting while you're driving, because I can write and not look at it, and then you can. I'm better than I used to be, but I think now I have a smartphone that is smart, and I've been trying to learn how to make lists on it, like, hey Siri, make a list, but I can't add things to the list.
Hey Siri, write me a good bird song.
Do you? What rhymes with orange? You ever? Do you ever sing into it? Oh
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And this song, I was just kind of singing, the one part about this little bird. I was singing that. I remember driving 275 to 471, coming into the city, and just kind of singing, and the sun setting, and
well, your voice is magical.
Oh God,
it puts me in a state of mind which is it's almost childlike. It's dreamy. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Very good.
A bit of Joanna Newsom.
Yeah.
Bjork.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah, it's
I've been
really.
hearing Bjork a lot lately, and I used to hear it a lot because people thought I looked like Bjork, and like they hadn't even heard me play. But now, like people,
I don't
guess
really
they're
see
looking at
that.
me,
I mean, you to me, you have the very the country style thing going on, but you also have like a Beatlesque kind of way about you. The chords you choose and the melodies you choose, it's super cool.
Is that John or Paul Beatle?
The combo.
Ingrid Michaelson.
Not Ringo.
Sure.
Who? Do you know?
Ingrid Michaelson.
I don't know if I'm familiar.
She does a great cover of Fools Rush In.
Okay.
It's been kind of drawn out and interpreted very.
Yeah. As always, I enjoy your stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks for having me.
It was a great time. And you have to bring your grandpa's guitar sometime.
And
Yeah.
you.
Well, I was just visiting my dad, and he has it, and but it was at a different house, and so I was thinking like when I was going there, I was going to get to play it, or like just like.
So he's in
strum it,
Columbus, right?
No, He's in Florida. He's in
I
Navarre,
was going to
Florida.
suggest bringing it in, and we'll show it in post.
And he plays, I take it?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
So it's not under the bed all the time. So. Or is it?
Enough.
It might be.
Did he refinish at Sunburst again?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like Dad had said something to me about like, I got this guitar for you, or I feel like he said that. It's been so many years now. Maybe I've made that up, but I'm like, I don't want to be responsible because it's and we were at the farm then, and that was before we had kids, and the upstairs of the house wasn't finished, and that was where I would store some stuff. I'm like, I don't want it like in the cold, like it would get cold up there.
Smart.
We would close the house down. So, and I have in the past not been good about, like I'm always running things into the wall or, like knocking it over.
It's probably not a good idea.
But I'm getting better now.
Work that into the set.
Now that I have,
punk rock.
now that I have, I'm getting some nicer stuff, because I normally didn't have very nice stuff.
So we have to say what shows you got coming up.
I'm going to be at the Listing Loon.
Love that place.
On September 20th.
Okay.
And I've never been there before, and I'm really excited to be there.
And make sure you go to your Facebook page.
Yes, Sarah Asher Music.
Sarah Asher Music.
And there's also some videos on YouTube if you're looking for Sarah Asher.
Yeah.
Fantastic guitar player, and he was at my studio lying on his back with my beagle on his stomach. Licking his face.
You guys do some weird stuff.
Yeah, we do. Well, that's what we do.
You were recording him?
We take our shirts off and wrestle a lot. And occasionally we pick up guitars. Earth people don't understand. They'll try to screw up your plan. Somehow you still can believe. So you roll up your sleeves, and when you hold it like that and put your fingers right there.
We're back on the show. We got Jacob, who has picked the awesome Gibson 335. And we're all still enjoying our Branch Hill coffee.
What is this again?
It is Guatemala Wycan.
And who's
Branch Hill Coffee.
Branch Hill? All right.
Branch Hill Coffee Company, yeah.
Oh, heard of them.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're awesome.
They're kind enough to support the show.
You even drank it in Indiana when we went there.
I did. Yeah, I took it with me so we would have it for the Guitar Pickers episode. So make sure that you check out Guitar Pickers too. When you subscribe to the Village channel, you can see Guitar Pickers and Fret Buzz.
But I'm not credited as the camera guy.
He is the camera guy.
iPhone camera guy.
And I would say you're actually director too in that one.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I follow you, so it's like, what method acting, I guess. There's a method and he does, yeah.
So Jacob, tell us about the song, man.
All right, this song's called Somewhere. It is the first track off our new release, which is called Divide. And it takes a look at the sort of divides we have in our lives, whether it be life and death or loss of relationship, or specifically with this song, kind of the conversations that we're having or maybe the lack of conversations that we are able to have because everyone's very stuck in their camps.
People have tribes now. It's a shame.
Yeah, and I think it's stagnating a lot of things for us. Whatever your politic, you certainly want things to get done, and I feel like we're not seeing.
Do you mean the art of conversation with somebody? It's more done through.
Yeah, so it's kind of about like Facebook specifically, and the chorus is this idea of, I know that there's something wrong here, and but I still reply, I still write back, and we get caught in these wheels, and suddenly you find yourself saying things like, I don't even think that, I'm just mad at you.
I just troll.
It's a shame because people demonize people over opinions, and it never used to be. I think it stifles art too.
The whole unfriend thing. It's like, oh geez, they don't allow people with a different opinion.
I unfriended you.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Well, good reason.
He didn't like pictures I was sending him.
A question I do often ask my friends is, think about all the art that wouldn't be made today.
Exactly, especially comedy. I mean, comedy, or it's like, it's.
We wish we had some on this show.
I know, it's true.
Well, you've got to watch your P's and Q's on that.
I have to edit things he says out all the time now.
Just edit him out.
Pretty much. It's like, who said that? And there's like some voice in the background.
Yeah.
So, that's for sure. It sounds like it's a very timely tune.
I'm trying to get it a little more current.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you record the song on electric or acoustic?
I recorded it on electric. I kind of make the joke, I take two guitars on stage, and I have the most Fendery Gibson and the most Gibson-y Fender. I have the one of the Hawk series of Gibsons with the longer neck.
Yeah.
And then the Fender I have is the TC90, which is so weird because it's a neck-through P90s.
Telly-related guitar.
Yeah, double cutaway Telly with an F-hole. It's like the weirdest.
Yeah, it is weird.
Fender.
It sounds great.
Yeah, it's a great guitar.
So I'm sorry if you already said it. This is on a Calumet?
Yes,
okay.
It's the first off of our new thing, which is called Divide.
Oh, okay.
And you'll see some posters around town. It's online everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I probably saw you do this tune if I've seen your shows, right? For sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Well, I guess I'll get started.
Okay.
I'd like us all to consider our relations, because what we're doing tonight is always subject to your interpretation. And so if we're doing this right, let's have a guitar conversation, 'cause I didn't come here to fight, but I've made peace with what I'm saying. And I know I don't belong here, but I must belong somewhere, somewhere. And I know there's something wrong here, but I reply, no, I've never changed a person's mind by insulting their intelligence. Shouted someone down and gotten anything but strong defense. Do we want to punish their position or pull them out of ignorance? I know I'm as guilty as the rest, but now I'm trying something different. And I know I don't belong here, but I must belong somewhere, somewhere. And I know there's something wrong here, but I reply, can we figure out why we draw these lines between what is the same mind? Oh, if I could find, conjure or divine, and open up wide a lens to inside. Well, And I know I don't belong here, but I must belong somewhere. Now I hear a lot of talk of change, but I don't see that many changing. Though colors blend and rearrange, the pattern stays a great rotation. A picture painted black and white that we all know is mostly grayish. Oh, you don't want my insight? All right, I'll just stick to playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Such a projection voice.
I swallowed an amp.
That'll do it.
Pig nose, smoky, or
That's one of those little cigarette box ones.
oh yeah,
It's
smoky.
right here.
So yeah, that's
What
a great,
brand?
great song. And when you started playing, I started remembering the band play. It's so different. One of the things I love about the show is, you know, I'm a fan of everybody on, and you know, I've never heard that song except for the band.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you get to really hear what it's about. Often live, the messages get lost.
Sure.
People
Intimate,
just
yeah.
people just hear the melodies, and you know, not the point of the song. But man, that's really cool.
Thank you.
So, when you're saying you don't belong here, were you talking about like social media or just the way this society is?
Or the
both?
conversation.
I hope that it's open to the interpretation of that, you know, and,
Yeah.
and my hope with that song was, though I certainly have my opinions, I would hope that whatever your opinions are, it reflects your feelings about that too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even if we're on opposite sides, I think we all have this feeling like something's wrong. I mean, something's not going right.
Yeah.
Somehow, whatever side of it you're on, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's kind of about both.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that is, I don't know anybody's journey, but my personal journey is I've been on many sides of many issues. And often we forget that we may have had that same opinion in our life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's I think if we can remember that, then perhaps we can realize that people are human. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm trying to say with the bridge is, you know, why do we draw these lines between what are such similar minds? You know, I think a lot of us are more similar than we are different, but right now that difference is very highlighted by
General or generation too, I think is a big factor in it. You know,
absolutely.
older people, younger people.
Yeah, there's a huge age divide too.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think everybody's talking instead of to each other, at each other. So somebody's talking. and
They're
the other
preaching,
person
you know,
is
it's like-
listening, so.
I
And
want to be
often to the
heard.
choir.
You know? Yeah, it's like, you know, all right.
yeah, scream into the void, see what comes
Right.
back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when's the next show you guys are playing?
Well, the big one we've got coming up is Iron Fest, which is actually in November, but
Yeah.
it's a whole. Mudpie's doing it this year.
We're not doing it this year.
Oh, okay.
It's the first time ever that we've not played.
Yeah. Yeah, I was afraid I wasn't going to get in this year too, but
Yeah.
we're in. It's a 2-day festival at the Southgate House Revival. 30 bands or so.
Yeah, always a blast, a great event.
Really fun. It used to be really, you know, metal and hard rock, but now it's
Yeah, they're branching out.
oh, it's
Yeah.
everything now. I've been amazed at some of the stuff.
It's
I've
always
seen.
been kind of variety, though.
Yeah.
I mean, over the years. But yeah, that's really cool, man. Can't wait to hear
Yeah,
you
it's
guys.
11/8 is the date
Yeah.
for that.
Right on. And you know, the guitar, it was interesting the way you played it. You played it on the bass pickup.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 64
Beautiful.
ES 335, which is the same year that Clapton played, Johnny. That the Clapton 335 that he's played on his
Crossroads.
recent blues album. Well, it's not recent anymore, but you know, the blues album that he
Yeah.
made.
Yeah, right.
And all through Cream.
Yeah. The live Cream stuff.
And also our buddy J.D. Simo plays one. It's a famous year for a 335.
Lee Rittenauer.
And the guitars, that guitar's interesting because it has one PAF in it.
Oh, really?
And usually they don't that late, but occasionally they do. There's certain a structure to the body. It's the last year for what they call the Mickey Mouse ears, which is a different body shape.
Okay.
And it has a stop tailpiece, which the next year they go to a trapeze tailpiece. So it's sort of the last of the early body shape. The only difference between that and the earlier ones is that it has block inlays. In 1962, they go to block inlays. The earlier ones from 58 to 62 have dots, and those are called dot necks.
Oh, okay.
And that's a short guard or a long
yeah.
guard?
That's a short guard. Yeah. The guards change in 61 to short guards.
I always wanted to see that in England. The guards change.
Whole nother thing.
The trapeze you were talking about. Do those?
This is a trapeze.
Right now, does that vary for the tuning at all? Because you can kind of hit like.
It doesn't alter the tuning. What it does alter is sort of the sustain of the guitar.
Okay.
And it alters kind of the tone of the guitar because the stop tail is screwed into a block. There's a wooden block that goes through this. And this guitar is much more like a solid body guitar than this guitar, which is fully hollow. There's no block in this guitar. Even though it still has sort of acoustic tones to it, it's generally just a solid block with simulated hollow body thing. So it's what's called a semi-hollow. And what I was going to say is Jacob played it on the bass pickup, which made it sound to my ear much more like an acoustic instrument.
Right.
Which that guitar often is very rarely played like that, and it's cool. I mean, it sounded great. It worked perfect for your tune. Yeah.
Thank you. It's beautiful. I'm sorry you didn't get to play it, Sarah. I know you wanted to play a Gibson, but I couldn't have pulled off your guitar the way you did. So.
Yeah. I should have explained to her that was a Gibson guitar, but you know what? I think it was cool that you played the electric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it looked good with your dress.
That's the main thing, actually.
Looked good with my nose too.
Yeah. So, what did you think about it? I mean, the way it felt and played.
Great. And it was really nice too. So I played that in an open D tuning with a capo on it, and it was really nice. I love the smaller frets. The kind of medium frets on it makes it really easy to play and do some of the weirder shapes that come out.
Well, you're one of the few people that have ever said that. I mean, most time people want bigger frets.
Ones.
I like small frets because I got used to playing vintage guitars. The main guitar plays a 57 Esquire. It still has the original frets, which, Fender frets are a little taller than Gibson frets from that time period. But I mean, I'm a particular fond of that guitar in that year because the earlier ones from 61 to 62 and going into 63 are much thinner. They're a wide, thin neck. That one's got some meat to it, which is probably why Clapton chose it and a lot of those people chose it. And when I brought it, honestly, I mean, I sort of knew that Johnny would maybe tend towards this guitar, but I also thought that guitar sort of suited him too.
Yeah.
And I thought that you might pick this guitar. So
what do you know, Mike?
Well, that shows I know nothing.
Yeah.
So
good you brought a range.
You can, judge customers when they come in and like, oops, like Peter Frampton.
So can't wait to hear you guys again. Appreciate you doing the song.
Pleasure. Great song.
All right.
And to me, this is just like a deco masterpiece, made in the 30s. Just the top of the line of handcrafted guitars. So I talked Elliot out of it. And then years passed. I kept the guitar. It was candy apple red with a matching headstock. And nobody really knows if they just did a batch of these or if people ordered them. If you're an Eric Clapton fan, you probably saw him play a Sumner's Telly like this with a Stratocaster neck on it. I got about halfway home and he called me and said, I'm going to sell it to you. So I drove all the way back to Philly after a long week of guitar show. I collect Pelham Blue guitars, and this is one of the rare models. You see Pelham Blue in a lot of guitars. Not really a lot, but more often in SGs and things like that. You never see a 345. This is a 59 Les Paul. It used to belong to Brad Whitford, and it is very figured, which is what makes him the most valuable. This guitar is nicknamed Snake.
So Johnny, do you know what guitar you have?
It's got 6 strings. I know that much.
Yeah.
And it says Gibson, and it's pre-war, I would assume, because of the headstock logo.
I forgot. It's not pre-war, but I forgot to take the tag off, which is kind of lame.
It's a mini Pearl special.
Oh, mini Pearl.
Yank that off there for me.
Oh,
just pull on it.
I don't want to. Yeah.
You ain't gonna hurt anything.
I'll send it out of tune though.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
There we go. That's Rockstar.
Yeah.
Right there. So anyway, I thought you might recognize that guitar because it belonged to Jerry Hedge.
Oh,
That's-
I've never seen this guitar.
Yeah, it's weird. You know, I've known Jerry ever since he worked at Hughes.
Yeah.
And you know, Jerry was
Up in Newport.
no, Hughes Music was actually in Norwood.
Norwood,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, the old
Yeah,
Norwood.
I mean it's where Lonnie Mack bought his Flying
Correct,
V.
right,
It's
right.
like old school music store,
Right.
like nerds like me used to dig through.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and Jerry worked there when he was younger and all through his youth, and then he went on to be into guitars and
Jerry
stuff.
Hedge.
Jerry
Yeah,
Hedge, yeah. He's since passed away. I don't know if you guys knew Jerry, but anyway, I ended up with that guitar from his estate. And Jerry used to call me, well, not call me, but we would talk often at guitar shows about the guitar. And this is what's interesting about that guitar is it is a 350, which is evolved from a 300. A 300 was a non-cutaway. Interesting enough, that is the first cutaway electric guitar that Gibson made. You know,
Yeah, you had the
coincidence,
other
that
one,
was the
yeah.
first acoustic guitar.
Yeah, okay.
And so in 1948, they came out with that guitar, which is called a 350. They also have one, and early on it might have been called a 350 Premier. I can't remember. You guys can check on that. But what's interesting about it is, if you'll play it and then turn that knob there, keep turning it all the way. It's a blend knob.
Oh, it blends them back and forth, yeah.
And it's an early blend knob that has a dead spot in the middle.
Yeah, right in the middle.
It's supposed
Quiet.
to.
Yeah.
Which Jerry always thought there was something wrong with the knob. So he would, and honestly, I did too. That's a very rare guitar, and they only did that for a short time. And up until even the week before he passed, he would talk to me about bringing it in and having me change it. And I'm so glad that didn't happen, because as I started researching that guitar, I learned that the very, very first ones have that blend knob, and it talks about, people were talking about how it has a dead
So it's a
spot in it.
pre-toggle switch.
Now,
It's a pre-toggle switch.
Yeah,
exactly
with no
right.
middle, where both
no
of
middle.
them can be on.
Exactly.
Right.
now, is the potentiometer in there purposely have, or is it electric?
It's an early potentiometer, because I don't know if they had the sort of potentiometers that would achieve the blend like we have nowadays.
Yeah.
I'd say the pickups probably cancel each other out in the middle. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
could be that.
But that's very cool. I've never
It's
seen
very
that.
cool,
Yeah.
and luckily I never ruined the guitar for Jerry. And that's one interesting thing about the guitar. And also you'll notice that it has the early logo, which you pointed out earlier.
Yeah.
That is only on the very first ones of these guitars. Then they go to the other logo. That's like the early script logo. It has the early knobs without the numbers. And that guitar is a solid maple guitar. It's maple neck. It's ply maple body, but it is maple everywhere.
Yeah, sides, back.
What do they call those? The frets on there? The design?
Parallelogram inlays.
Okay, yeah.
I knew you were going to try to make me say that.
What was that again?
So yeah, it's sort of a special guitar, man. And honestly, I didn't really realize it was that special until after I ended up with it.
Well, it's just special that it was Jerry Hedges.
It's special
too,
it's Jerry's.
Because if you have played blues like I have in Cincinnati for all these years, he was sort of a common theme in that country blues scene. Everywhere you would go, every show you would go, Jerry would be there at some point, and he was just an icon of the whole scene. Yeah. And we always, still to this day, can remember his voice. Hey, Mike. And it would be at the end of the night. I'd be trying to pack all my stuff. You're trying to get out of there, and he'd tap on my shoulder, and he's always, well, what's this new pedal you got, or what are you running on that amp? What do you got? He was always wanting to talk music and gear.
Yes, he was.
And I always made time. He was a great dude, and we miss him.
Yeah,
terribly.
we do miss him very much.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, when Jerry worked at Hughes, there was a Gibson RVT stereo amplifier. They made them stereo, and I always really wanted that amplifier. And I don't know, the Hughes family, they were strange people. And I don't know how else to say it, but I would go there and I'd try to buy that amp, and I could never buy that amp, and it wouldn't work. And there was all kinds of, that's a long story. But anyway, Jerry kind of always wanted me to have that amp. Well, he sort of fell in love with it, I guess, because of my interest. And Jerry took that amp, and I also ended up with that amp eventually.
Oh, wow.
Like 40 years later.
Good combo then? For like that guitar.
combo.
And it was
So I still have it at my house.
It was angled. The speakers
Yeah.
were angled.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, hey, do you mind spinning that guitar around so it gets some light? I just want everybody to see the maple top on that guitar.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's particularly figured and really, really nice. You know, I think there's a chance that's.
And you know, it's funny because it's not necessarily a true tobacco because it doesn't go to all the way to black. You know, it's a it's a
I think
medium.
It's probably
sort of,
just faded a little.
It's very cool though.
Yeah.
I love the color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the story of that guitar, and it's a huge neck. I think it's huge.
I don't think it's that huge. I think it's maybe like a normal 58-9 Les Paul shape.
Pretty
you know?
big, yeah. So anyway, that's the guitar talk.
That's
so tell us
awesome,
about
yeah.
the tune, John.
Well, it's ironic. The song I've picked to play here today is a song that's only about a month or so old. The song, a few people outside of my basement, I guess, have heard this song.
So it's another exclusive here.
Another exclusive at Fret
Yeah,
Love.
exactly. and it's funny that you talk about Jerry Hedge because I hadn't thought about Jerry Hedge in a while. But this song is, you know, as a songwriter, you want to express yourself and you want to say what you need to say, like the song that you guys have all played. And then at some point, when you get old like me, you start to realize that that's what will live. After we are gone, these songs will live if you record them, and that will be your legacy. And the thing about Jerry Hedge, it's just kind of hit me, you know, it's just crazy. But so anyway, a few years ago, I went to Clarksdale, Mississippi, the home of the blues, you know, thing. And I thought it would be sort of touristy, and it kind of is. But I ran across an old picture of Son House. And I've always been a big Son House fan. And he was the true connection to the old blues, the field where they would, you know, they would chant, you know, while they're sharecropping. And I've come to love that style of blues. Even though I play electric blues, that style of blues hits me
like
harder.
The foot stomping,
exactly.
like chain sounding.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's the call and the response thing that it all was born out
And
of.
I heard a lot of those songs that they sang were to help people who were escaping. They gave like secret code directions.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. There was a lot of that going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was also the pace of the work.
It was the pace of the work.
Get your mind off the work.
Exactly. You know, I mean, and if you've been to Mississippi in the summertime,
you need something to get your mind
field,
off that.
that was, you know, brutal. Yeah. So to say the least. But anyway, so this song sort of came to me, like she was talking about. It came to her while she was driving. Some of my best songs have come to me not even with a guitar in my hand. They just come in your head. And this is one of those songs. So this is a song called One of These Days.
And it was inspired by the
And
really
inspired by the
blues.
whole thing. Yeah. And we'll dedicate this to my good friend Jerry Hedge.
All right. Jerry.
One of these days, it won't be long. One of these days, it won't be long. 'Cause one of these days, I'll be gone. Oh Lord, please take me home. Oh Lord, please take me home. 'Cause one of these days, I'll be gone. Oh, child, remember my song. Oh, child, please remember my song. 'Cause one of these days, I'll be gone. One of these days, one of these days, one of these days, it won't be long. 'Cause one of these days, one of these days, I'll be gone. For Jerry Hedge.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wonderful, Johnny.
Very nice.
That's awesome, brother.
It's a little deep, but you know.
Yeah, it's a perfect song. It's
Thank
weird
you.
how that I think that all kind of fit together.
I had
Just-
no idea about this guitar.
Yeah,
or
well,
any
when
of
you
that.
first came in and you picked it, I was like, "Would you recognize that?" And you just,
No, I didn't.
You thought
didn't.
I was going to say it belonged to somebody else.
I did not know
right?
Jerry Hedge had something this cool. He's
Yeah.
always bring his Parker Fly. And cool, but
Yeah.
I didn't know he had. I certainly
Yeah.
would have discussed it with him. I know that.
That's cool. Is that on your solo album?
No, I have. Again, I just wrote that song about a month ago.
Oh, wow.
So it has not been recorded up until today.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll put it out at some point. Yeah.
So are you working with Elton again? I know Elton, our engineer, did your
He
one of your
did
solo
he did
records?
my band's album and my solo album. So and we have enough songs
Yeah,
to
you
do
getting
the
close?
next one. We're real close. So
Yeah.
we're getting there.
Yeah, that's
Double
awesome,
CD on one.
man. Double CD on
one
yeah.
CD. Yeah. His idea, not mine. But anyway, so the next question you're going to ask is where are we playing, right?
Sure.
And how this works.
Yeah, he's figured it out.
Yeah.
He's got me all figured
Yeah,
out.
I know.
Hey, brother.
So I grew up here in northern Kentucky. Moved here when I was 5 from Norwood. And as a kid, we would always go over to DeVue Park, right up the street. And they have that big band shell in DeVue Park, right? Mm-hmm. And ever since I was a kid, and especially ever since I played guitar, I've always wanted to play there. I've never played there.
That was your Madison Square. Then.
It's going to be.
Okay.
So we're headlining the Northern Kentucky Music Festival there September the 7th. So
Nice.
That's wonderful.
yeah, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, I want to thank you personally because I can always depend on you to do whatever kind of madness I got going on. you know, if I
I match
promote a
your
show or we're having a grand opening here or Fret Buzz, I can't even think of all the things you've helped me out with. So
Well, you've always helped me with nice guitars, so I
yeah,
appreciate
well,
that. Yeah.
I appreciate
You're
your
quite
willingness to be involved in my crazy stuff.
That's all right. Keeps it fun, right?
You're a better man than I.
Yeah. And I mean, our show is worldwide. So not everybody knows how great Johnny is, but I really encourage everyone to go out on the web, find his material, check him out. Great blues artist.
JohnnyFink.com.
Yeah, JohnnyFink.com. He's got all the Facebook
J-O-N.
stuff.
JohnNNY.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Get that right.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, how long have you been with this current band?
Well, I've had the band.
I mean, the current members.
The current members over 10 years. And, you know, somebody was commiserating about drummers.
Yeah. Well, everyone.
Everyone does. And it's funny, I had a good friend of mine come up to me the other night, and he says in my ear while he was playing with his band, you know how lucky you are to have the same drummer every night. You know, y'all didn't hear that. It was, do you know how lucky you are to have the same drummer every night? And I do know how lucky I am.
Yeah.
I've had 2 fantastic musicians, Matt Newman on bass and Doug Moore on drums, for over 10 years. And
Both super nice guys, amazing rhythm
the
section.
only gig my drummer ever missed was we played the Cincinnati Blues Festival 5-7 years ago. It's because he had broken his wrist loading in to play a gig. He tripped over a bag and hit his hand and
Ouch.
broke his wrist. But God bless him, he played the whole gig with a broken wrist.
Wow.
Before he went to the hospital, and that was the
Wow.
only gig he had ever missed was the next one after.
Cut his pay.
No, I bought him extra Jim Beam that night.
Did you guys do any Def Leppard songs? Or?
We had to cut the pain, you know.
He said, "Did you play any Def Leppard songs that night?"
No.
Oh,
No,
man.
that's cold. But I do know how fortunate I am to have the same guys and doing what I do with a 3-piece. it's like I don't think about that. I can concentrate on me, and that everybody knows that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Well, and in blues especially, there's such a conversation going on.
Correct.
between-
I don't even have to look at them most of the time. They know where I'm going just by a signal I'll make with my hand or on the guitar. Yeah.
And, that is something, having played in the same band for 22 years, that you take for granted after a while.
Mm-hmm.
That, especially like Mud Pies does a similar thing where we just have open areas where we
Right.
change every single night.
Right.
And you get used to, I can sense when Mark's solo's over, even though it's a different solo.
Yeah.
Or, and that stuff is just repetitive stuff.
That makes music.
Yeah.
It makes the magic in my world. That's what happens.
In the blues especially.
Right.
Because if you guys, I'm sure certain songs are the same every time, but in the blues, man, part of it is the experience, the opening up and the growing, and having known you for so long. I still remember, when you were playing covers like in Fort Thomas.
Yeah.
And I've seen you really grow into an amazing blues artist, man. Really.
Thank you. I
I'm
appreciate
so
the support after all these years.
Finally, you get your due.
I keep telling you, Mike. I keep telling you, you wouldn't listen to me.
You can quit now, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
I'm somebody. Mike likes it.
Blues
Like he
revival, here
likes
we
it.
go.
Here we come. Yeah.
So, with that being said, this has been an absolute wonderful episode
Yes.
of Fret Buzz. One of the best ones yet.
Yep.
I appreciate everybody for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I want to thank.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, you do it.
Well, appreciate Branch Hill for the coffee again. The Guatemalan, what was it?
Guatemalan Wyken.
Wyken. Yeah.
I can say that.
Spell
And Mike's
that,
Music offers us the guitars. So make sure that you go out, you support Mike's Music, you support Branch Hill Coffee. Make sure you subscribe to the Village YouTube page. That's very important. Support the artists and stick around for the next episode. Coffee up.
Woo! Yay! Click, 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 click. Ding.
not over the ribbon, Mike.
Front door's open, porch lights on. Plastic cups and empty picture frame in the rain.
Watch the tailing of the sunset. Burning in the sky like a neon sign.
No, I've never changed a person's mind by insulting their intelligence. No, I've never shouted someone down and gotten anything but strong defense.
One of these days I'll be gone. Oh Lord, please take me home. Oh Lord, please take me home.